Welcome back, danglers. We are on the water, springtime. Water is almost 52 degrees to start the day here, and we're going after the elusive crappie. Bright sunny skies today, low winds for now. It's gonna pick up here later, but I'm excited. Got some crappie poles on the deck, and we're going hunting. This is the time of year where they start to kind of position themselves to go up and spawn in these creeks. So we're gonna be looking for these big females. It's looking good, y'all. Before we get rip rolling here, I want to give a shout out to our partner in today's video, which is Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew shares the same sentiment that I'm sure all of you do, man. It's time to get out in the great outdoors. It's spring, get outside, go enjoy something. I prefer a dangle, but enjoy a nice refreshment while you're doing it. All right, y'all, so here is the deal. We've got a lake that's full of timber. These crappie are gonna be kind of moving into these creeks and stopping on the timber, following the creek channels, and they're getting ready to make their push to go to the bank. It's not quite there yet. We still need about another 10 degrees, but this is a good thing for what we're trying to do. Usually these big females will be by themselves, so we're gonna try to look for similar to what you would look for with bass on forward-facing technology, trying to find a big bass that's isolated and then go after it. Now, my favorite bite for crappie is when they actually go to the bank and then you're just casting and you're catching a lot of those males that are grouped up. They have a different spawning strategy than largemouth. It makes it so much fun. But this type of fishing is similar to largemouth trying to go for those big females before we move up. So we're gonna try to get something in the twos. Maybe we get a 3. There we go, y'all. First crappie on. A little tricky. You know, I've been puttering around for about 10 minutes and finally found one as I was coming out to deeper water. So I started off moving into the cove a little, or the creek a little bit. When I came out, it's when I saw my first good one locked in, and it was a little tricky, but we'll keep grinding. Nice. It's probably a 14.5 incher right there. It's going in the box. First one's always the hardest. Get you some friends. If you're new to using forward-facing sonar, what you want to look for with crappie are fish that aren't moving very much or not moving at all. If you see something that is looks like a fish and it's just not moving, it's it's probably a crappie. I got something big. Oh, I got a gar. Got me a garfish on the long pole. Right in the schnooterberry too. These things fool me sometimes. When they're facing away from you, they look like a ball. When they turn sideways, that's when you really see their girth. Scared to grab them. Oh. Can I lift you? Is that possible? I don't know. This could be the dumb decision of the day here. Try to get this jig back. Them teeth, boy. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh God, that's what scares me. I can see your little teeth just gleaming. I can't believe I hooked him that good. It's insane. These things are so strong. You know, I can't even say I've held them that much because they're so scary to me. This one's got a real broad snout to it. Whew, look at that. Some chompers. So when they're facing towards you with forward, they actually look like a regular size fish. And then you see them turn sideways. You're like, oh, yeah, that's a gar. So we'll let this guy go. That is not what is on the menu. Gar is not on the menu. Some people say it's pretty good. I'm a big sniffer. I go by the sniff. That one's not for me. Tasty tube going on. I've seen that a few times with these gar They're suspended high on the column, and I keep thinking like, yeah, maybe the crappie are up, but I don't think they are. Most of the crappie I've seen are in like 14 to 16 right now. Oh my gosh, I got whatever that is, and that's big. Oh, big crappie. Oh, big suspended floater. That's a good one. Oh gosh, he got on it like flies on a dookie. Heck yes. Oh yeah, y'all, that's a good one. Now we're talking, now we're working. Now we're working, that's a big bite. Yeah, there we go. So I just rolled up into a little smaller pocket I thought might be a little warmer, and it is by about 2 degrees. And I was gonna drop the trolling motor and start kind of going quick towards the back, and then as soon as I dropped the trolling motor, I saw a nice signature, and you know, that's a good, let's measure it actually. She was aggressive too. I didn't even really have to work it much. It was first cast. Just put it on the board. It's a solid 14 1/4, baby. There's a nice one, okay. Haven't got any small ones yet. Big girls. Cast of that fish, it was an open water fish, wasn't on any cover. And she bit that dangle dart right away. Actually chased it. She chased it down. So I've got a bunch of trees in here too that I can try to target. This is a fun bite that you can do without forward too. When they are starting to move up into the spawning creeks and coves, and you've got cover like that, you just take a little moving swim bait like the snacky swimmer, and you just reel it by the cover. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot. That one was on the bottom, close to some cover. It's not a very big one. Still a delicious one. I hadn't even turned over my bail, and that one ate it. Looks like these ones here in this warmer cove are a bit more aggressive. I'm sure he's an 11, but we'll check him. 11 1/2. Nice crop. Wow, this is gonna get a little more fun, I think, as it warms up. I like those ones that just zoom out and grab it. And that first one I caught, it was a good one, but that's typical of the females. They're like just locked in, but man, I love those just aggressive ones. That's what makes crappie fishing really fun to me. Got another open water fish right here. See if I can flick it out there and get this one. Oh yeah. Oh God, can't believe I missed that fish. Gosh, he tagged it. Hit it perfectly. It's a good fish. It's coming again. She got it that time. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I thought this fish was way bigger than that. Saw that fish go back to its spot in open water and just hang there. It's just such a unique thing of crappie that I love. Okay, just moved into a little cut where the water is almost 55. All right, can't get that big one that's moving around. Could be a bass, but maybe I can get this one. It's pretty locked in at the bottom, it seems. Oh yeah, that's a done deal. Little guy. Just not quite, oh, you're cold now. He's cold. We're just not quite there to the spawn mode. They're real scattered right now. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's not the one I was, there's two of them. I came up in this pocket and I'm just seeing a bunch of little male fish. So I definitely got my bigger bites on the outskirts. That's what I'm gonna go back to doing. We gotta stay on the big females. Golly, she came over and just annihilated it off that stump. That's a big one. Oh yeah. Golly, I was about to reel my bait in. I was reeling my bait in and I saw her dart over towards it. Oh, you were good. You were good. Went right back out. Right back out to where I was wanting to look for a bigger one. Out of that creek, and there she is, baby. Ho, ho, ho. And ate it quite well. Bigger size, definitely not on the bank right now. I like the way it's going. I like the way it's going. Not seeing a ton of fish, but we are seeing the right ones. We're in the territory of the big ones. A big one on the back side of this tree. Let's make an approach. Look at this old bow dart, man. Gnarly tree. It's looking good, my friends. It's looking real good. That fish is gonna grab it. There he is. That's a good one. Nice, nice. Not a giant, but it's a good one. You know, everybody assumes like, oh, the crappie are in the tree, you're in the tree. And you know, since forward, we can really look at the trees and see when they're in there. And a lot of times they are just out away from them a little bit. There's a real big one that wants to be around this tree. This is a giant, dude. That's a giant. I had somebody ask me the other day, why'd you go to an aluminum boat? Well, this is one reason. You don't tear up your boat when you're, well, you tear it up, but it's not gonna put a gouge in your gel coat. You're crappie fishing or bass fishing in the nasty brush, running into stuff like a moron because you're staring at live scope. That's why. Interesting little spot right here. You know, this what really makes me think they're not ready yet. Is they're holding on, seem to be holding around the deepest part of this this creek arm. they're not sitting in the trench, but they're like, they want to be in this area. Even though the water's warmer back there, it's like they're just not quite ready to pull up yet. Weather's not consistent. We had our last night's weather, night was in the 40s, and usually we start to get like a couple nights in the 50s in March. That's when things are going to the bank. Weather's heating up, man. Weather's heating up. Bite's heating up, weather's heating up. I'm gonna switch angles a little bit, and I'm also gonna do something that I don't often do, but I think sometimes makes a difference. You know, loop knots. I've always just tied them on my top waters, but loop knots for your crappie jigs and other, you know, little swim baits can make a difference. At times, just puts more action into your bait. And in the case of crappie fishing, what it can do is allow your bait to sit upright a little bit more than it'll give it more action and allow it to sit upright. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference with crappie. They're just gonna come over and blast it. You know, in the case today, it's like they're blasting it or they are straight up ignoring it. I'm not having to really finesse them besides that first one. So now that is on a loop, it won't sit upright in my hand, but in the water where it's less, less gravity, it'll have a little bit better presentation. And when I shake it, you know, this is pretty popular, not with all the, jig head minnow fishermen out there now for bass too, is they'll tie that up for shaking the minnow, which I don't really do much for bass, but I certainly shake a minnow a lot for crappie. It's kind of the same program. As I'm going around here, I'm looking at these trees and I'm looking for little bright spots on the tree that could be a crappie that's holding really close. The other thing I look for is down at the bottom if there's a root system. Sometimes they'll hang around that root system, and a lot of them have been just suspended out and away. And then sometimes you get them on the bottom, like that fish right there. If it's staying still, it might be a crappie. I've caught one off the bottom today. You know, there's a lot of controversy about forward-facing sonar. I do see it being extremely deadly on crappie, and I love using it, but the thing is, I've seen one other crappie guy out here today. Literally one other crappie fisherman. The rest of the parking lot is bass fishermen, and this is what I love about a lot of my Texas lakes is I go to the ramp, the parking lot is full of bass fishermen, and I basically get the lake to myself with like 10 other dudes that are chasing crappie, and it's just amazing. You go to some lakes and it's all crappie fishermen, but a lot of my lakes that I like to crappie fish don't have many crappie fishermen. It's ripping, danglers. It's ripping hard. It's making it really difficult for me to keep my boat positioned and catch these fish the way that they're acting. So I'm gonna try to find a calmer area. You know, looking at the map here on places to go next, I'm trying to get out of the wind, but looking at the map, I'm trying to find places like this, you know, possibly this is good, and where the bites are coming is like right in here. It's not all the way up in here yet. It's like right in here. And as soon as that water temp hits 60, we'll see a lot more fish going to the bank. But as of right now, I got to catch them where they are. Play them as they lie. And right now they're lying good. They're lying good in the well. Some chunkies. I just love crappie fishing, guys. Like, it is a challenge, and even with Ford, you know, a lot of people say like it's, you know, it's cheater box or whatever, but a lot of those people are not doing it. You know, like it is actually hard. It's hard to position everything and get your lure in the right place, and a lot of times they don't even bite it. So
I think there's a time and a place for it, and I definitely think right now is the time and the place for it. With a lot of individual suspended fish in this timber, that would be very difficult to catch otherwise until they move to the bank, and then it's throw the live scope off the side and just cast. So we'll try to find ourselves a little hidey hole out of the wind here, try to catch big mama.
Wind is brutal, but we're gonna try to do our best here. I think I've got a crappie in front of me. Appears to be one right down here in this tree. Looks pretty juicy. Oh, look, there's a bunch of bait fish on it too. See if he wants the plastic over the real thing. Looks like he's gonna eat the real, or my plastic. There he is. Oh, that's a good one. Oh gosh, that's a good one there. Oh yeah, that's Big Mama there. That's Big Mama Sally. She's barely hooked. Oh, darling, come here. Come here, darling. Lori, darling, how about a poke? We poked that one, just barely got her. Look at that. Oh, let's take a look at this fish and see if we got any eggs coming out. No, no, no. Just down there deep, just waiting, just waiting. Let's see what we got here. Look at that crappie. 14. Oh, no, no, don't you even think about it, sweetie. Just hammers. First spot that I rolled up to, and I saw one fish. You know, I'm not seeing multiple fish. That's not the deal. But you see this little bait here? You know, I've got the main river channel behind me, and there's just a little pocket. There's a little pocket that might have some spawning activity in the coming weeks. And I thought that might be a good spot. This could be one right here. Suspended right there. But that one was in a tree. Let me see if I can find it for you. See this tree right here? This little Y? A lot of them have been like that. That little Y right there. They like that little split. So if you got a tree that has a branch splitting off, it's good. That fish wanted it pretty much right away. You know, despite all those other bait fish that were swimming through, it wanted to eat my bait. And I think that's because it just stood out. That's one reason I really like throwing those bright colors for crappie too. When it's real clear water, I'll throw the shad stuff, but we get this dingy water and there's a lot of bait around. Having those bright colors sometimes helps a lot. Yeah, it looks like 2 fish that are sitting here. 2 fish sitting there. You know, I just swam it through them, above them slowly, and they didn't eat. Oh man, it's weird. Every fish is different. Some fish I have been able to do this, throw at them, others I cannot. Just gonna shake it right over this. Oh God, that one came, it turned around and wanted it. Oh yeah, come here. I want your buddy too. That was so weird. I dropped in there the first time, nothing happened, and then second time, a little pairing. That one was aggressive, not quite as big. Look how white these fish are, man. They're really not, they're not coming up. Crappie really get colored up when they go to spawn. And we're just not quite there yet. Okay, we got another fish right off of this tree. About 14 foot down. I'm gonna stop about right there, see if I can cast on the fish first. Oh man, So brutal. So brutal, this wind. You know, I've kind of been running this turret full time, and I like it, but the only time I don't like it's in the spring. I love it pretty much all other times. But when I'm trying to kind of pinpoint cast on a fish, the turret makes it a little tougher. So also in the spring, sometimes you just want to take it off to fish shallow water, which I really like this one I have, the Foresight. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. It has an easy detach, so you can take it off if you don't want it. But the ideal setup would be to have another mount on the shaft of your trolling motor, and then you could just flip-flop them. So if you want to go straight on the trolling motor, have a little bit more pinpoint control, you can do that. Now she's gonna stay around these trees. Hope she's kind of going down to the bottom a little bit. And there's another one right here. Ooh, it's gonna meet up with this one. Okay, here we go. It's looking good if we can hold position. Fish sees it. Got it. Got it. Oh yeah. Come here. Ah, you ain't that big. You'll eat though. Not keeping any tinnies today. No tinnies. These are all good uns. Oh, this fish is high up in the column now. It's like looking for its friend. Oh, he's coming. Got him. Got your friend. Got your friend. You about twins. Y'all were about twins. Maybe a little shorter. That one's 11. Your friend was a little bigger. Anytime I see a big piece of wood, I really try to look at it hard, because it's usually where the biggest ones are. It's like bass. If this is a crappie, this is a certified big one right here. Could be a bass, but sure is sitting still. Come on, come on, come on. This fish has followed at 20 feet. Oh my God, it's right there. Come on, just eat it. Eat it, sweet baby. Come on. Whew, that one got my heart pumping. That was a big one. It followed it and followed it. I was just letting the boat drift. I was shaking it. It just would not eat. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my God, I lost that fish. Oh my gosh. God, that fish chased it down and slurped it, dude. God, that was a big one. You only get one shot at a big one, man. Only one shot. There's another one sitting up here close to the bottom. Yep, got that one. That one's not as big though. Ah, man. Feels good to get a confidence bite, but that last one absolutely tweaked it. That's a 10-incher. These aggressive ones, I've just been kind of shaking it by the tree that they're sitting on. And every once in a while, there's one that will just come unglued. I like the area that we're in, but my gosh, I'm tired of getting my teeth kicked in by the wind. Come on, baby, give me one more. Give me one more. I need a tug. Please, baby, be the one. Got her. Got her. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big girl. Oh, yes, that's the one I wanted to end on. Big slob. And she acted just the way we needed to. Oh, whew, my rod's so long I can't even get it. Come here, fish. Oh, God. Oh man, it just fell right out. Look at that, guys. A nice chunky crop to end the day, man. Not a ton of bites out here, and I wasn't expecting to, but I was going after these big ones, and you know, my dream is to catch a 3-pounder. This is not a 3-pounder, but I've got a stack of nice 14s, like just solid Texas 14s. I love the hunt for these crappie, I gotta tell you. Like trying to target these bigger ones and going in and out of the creeks and coves and the points and the channels and figuring out where they're positioned, where the bigger ones are. And it just changes day by day. It's always a challenge. So that right there deserves a sniff. Deserves a sniff and a sip. Yeah, buddy, that's a Texas slab. All right, let's talk about the bite a little bit so you guys can take away something here from my fishing. You know, we're almost to that point where those fish are really moving in the creeks, and a lot of people call it crappie season. You know, it's always crappie season in my mind, but when people say crappie season, that usually means when they're going to the bank. And the males will move up similar to bass. They flood the shallow brush. They'll get on anything hard that they can spawn on, and the males will swarm around a tree or brush or hard spot, whatever it is, and they'll swarm around one female that's laying the eggs. And whatever is getting remotely close to the area, I don't care if it's a cigarette butt, they're going to eat it. But this type of crappie fishing, before they move up, it's a lot more tactical. I'm using longer rods today. I'm using a 10-foot and I'm using a 12-foot. That's so I can get out in front of the fish a little bit and not spook them. My big challenge today with the trolling motor in the wind is when I would approach a good sized fish, I'd have to bump the trolling motor on level 6 or 7 just to keep on track, and I would spook the fish away. Cover wise, when we get these big oak trees and these other trees that have these V's in them, those big ones like the V's. So, you know, figure out what depth they're in. Today, I saw fish all over. I saw fish from 6 foot all the way down to, you know, 20 foot. Some were even on the bottom, some were suspended in the trees, but it seems like the better ones that were set up that would want to eat, they were in those trees. And in the V's on the branches are at the top, just at the top of a tree that's, you know, fallen over. They'll sit at the top like that one just was. So some really nice crappie in here. My journey continues for the 3-pounder, but that's the beauty of it. I'll probably go a lot of years without catching one, but I'm gonna enjoy the journey. And then I pretty much just picked one bait and stuck with it because I got bit right off the bat, and that's the chartreuse and black dangle dart. The actual color name is Toxic Waste, on an 1/8 ounce head. The other way I was rigging was with a 1/4 ounce weight, and then it goes down to a 1/16 ounce jig head. And that worked too, but in most of the places I was fishing, I didn't need to get down that deep. And so luckily I was able to pitch a lot, you know, pitch out the bait, swing it towards the fish and swim it by them. And when they start doing that, when they start eating, it's really fun. And progressively I'll start moving like shallower and shallower and doing the same thing, just throwing a shorter rod, reeling a snacky swimmer or something a little bit more aggressive than this. But the dangle dart is so natural, has very little movement, and just shaking it, you can watch the crappie get excited and want to come eat it. And some of them came like 2 feet away. Some of them I had to really get it close to them. If you are going to use sonar like this, forward facing, you know, you want to throw it past the fish and always keep it above crappie, because crappie are always looking up. I made a couple mistakes today trying to control the boat, and I got it below the fish, or I actually bumped the fish, you know, got it right next to them. They want it above them because their eyes are always looking up. So just a couple of tips to take away. And if you guys want to pick some of these up, you know where to go. I've got a little landing page on the GOOGAN Squad website. It's got some of my favorite baits for bass and crappie, so go check that out. And you can use my promo code LFG and save at checkout at any time. Yeah, buddy, we got a mess of crappie we got to go clean, so I've got to get home. Shout out to today's video sponsor and partner, Mountain Dew, for encouraging all of us to enjoy the great outdoors. Get off your rear end, get off the cell phone, go do something. I prefer snatching fish and sniffing them. Cheers to Mountain Dew, and cheers to you guys. I'll see you on the next outdoor adventure.